Today's September 7th. From one sweep to the next. Baseball's a sport where you can't stay high too long, right? The best team in baseball just showed up and ruined the party. You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh, and I'm joined as always by my brother Jake. What's up, Jake?
How we doing, buddy?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
Yeah, it's officially football season, I guess.
How dare you?
Right?
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. Enough! You want my head to explode?
It is not football season. I mean, it is. It is, yeah. But it's it's not. Oh.
That's also why I said I guess.
No, I'm not there. We're not there. Are you there?
It was. I will say this. It was nice on a Saturday to turn on some football before I had to go into work.
All right. I'll give you that. Hey, it's been 2 weeks since we've done one of these, though. We're back live. That feels good.
It does.
And there is still baseball.
Oh, 100% there's still baseball.
I know.
More homestand, though.
I mean, you have the choice, right? You have the choice between watching your team's first game of the year or watching Bubba make his first start. What am I even talking about? This is 2025. You watch them both. You watch them both every time.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you can, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had football on here and the Pirates were on the big TV, by the way. Of course.
I was going to say, I would, if I was able to, not work on Sunday every Sunday,
Sure.
then I would have probably the Pirates game on with sound and the football on the other TV with no sound. But I never get to watch my team anyway, so they're never.
That's fair. That's fair. So, I mean, here's the thing, though. Like, week 1 of the NFL is preseason football because nobody actually plays in the preseason. All of the games that I watched today, everybody stinks. Nobody's ready for the season. The week 1 of the NFL season is terrible.
They even cut out a preseason. They only play 3 now.
I mean, they don't play any. Like, the starters might get one drive of one of the 3 games.
Yeah, like it
is terrible. And nobody's ready for the season anymore. They all stink. It's so bad.
Say they all stink.
They all stink.
You know,
compared to what you expect. There were college football games this weekend that played football as good as what I saw from the 3 NFL games I watched. And when I mean watched, I'm not totally glued in, but they were on.
Sure.
Because I just can't, dude. I'm like, no, this is the NFL. There are so many dropped passes, missed tackles. Nobody's ready. Kickers miss extra points anymore anyway. So all I'm saying.
Extra points are 35-yard field goals now.
I mean, they're just bad. And I can't even. Number 8 was ready for your Steelers, Josh. I see this. Listen, even the defensive backs aren't good. So, like, your quarterbacks are making passes. It's just like, who cares? Half the teams just run the ball all the time right now because they're like, oh, we got to get our feet wet. Do that in preseason. This isn't a football pod. Yeah. So Cheryl says Uncle Jake likes football. Yeah, we both like football.
Yeah.
Baseball's still
That's
number
like my
1.
2 sports. Like, yeah, baseball's always going to be 1, but my second sport is football.
Yeah, for sure. And I know, like, I mean, you're a big Ohio State guy, right?
Oh, I covered it up. Yeah, right there.
Yeah. So as far as college football, I just like to watch the game. I'll watch whoever's on. I'll pick whoever I want to win that game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, I'm not watching the Buckeyes. What team were they playing this weekend?
We played Grambling 70-0.
Yeah, like I'm not watching that game. No, I know, but like I'm not watching those games.
There was one competitive college game this weekend. It was Oklahoma and
Michigan.
Was it Michigan?
I think.
No.
That's who played Oklahoma.
Is
no,
it?
who did Michigan play? Yeah, Oklahoma, 24-13 over Michigan.
Oh, well, see there. I mean, that was the only somewhat competitive game.
Yeah.
Everything else was just cupcakes.
And that's why I just can't watch those ones.
Yeah. The first game of the year was good, though.
Yeah. So, anyway, we're going to talk about the Brewers series. We're going to talk about Bubba, obviously, and starting pitching. Generally, we always do. And then we'll have a little bit more to go over at the end. Offense and kind of what August looked like and all that stuff. We are going to talk baseball. I understand we just started this thing off with some football, but, big deal. Yeah, listen, Martin says, I used to watch the NFL, was a Steelers fan. Now I just watch the Pirates. There you go. No more football for Martin.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you know what I mean? Football's fun. I just can't. Sunday afternoon football for me is just like an automatic nap. Because all you do when you watch football is just sit around and wait for them to run a play. And then they finally run one, and then you sit and wait again. And there's so many commercials. There's so much downtime that I just end up falling asleep. You get these little tiny spikes of action, which are, granted, more action than what you get on those spikes for baseball. But baseball now is like you're going to get action every, 18 seconds now, the pitch clock, right? So like, a ball one is like a no gain on first down. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we're watching. But at least in baseball, the pace is faster. It's quicker between each play. And I know that there are baseball fans or the non-baseball fans out there who think that action is only when the ball is hit. And that's not true. First down is the first pitch of the at-bat, right? And then you go from there. and you get a first down on your drive, that's like getting a guy on first base. You know what I'm saying? So however it happens, like that when you're thinking of this, but either way, football is for me, like I struggle to stay awake. When it gets good or there's a really exciting game, that'll keep my attention better. Better. But
That's fair.
Maybe it's the nuance of baseball, right? Because I care about, like, just like football fans would say, like, oh, that's a good run that will set up the pass. I think the same thing about a slider low and in, how that's going to set up the fastball up and away. You know what I'm saying? Like that. It's all the same. Anyway. Jake, G1 Bay showed up on the field today. Thoughts?
No. I mean, somebody's got to take the field. I don't know. I was a little confused to see it, but also haven't really been paying much attention to him. So I don't know what he's been doing in the minors. So,
and that's a good call.
If it's a well-deserved call up, then good for him. Put in the work and you get rewarded.
And that's it 100%. And I think that there's something to be said there. He had 282 with a 377 on base this year in Indianapolis with a 788 OPS. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not all bad. He's had a pretty decent season down there. 23 steals, all said. And listen, he's got an option next year. He doesn't have to go anywhere. But when you've put together a season like that, which is a pretty good season.
Yeah.
And let's say, I don't know, I haven't been watching. Let's say you made strides defensively in the outfield. Then a team is going to say, well, let's give him a cup of coffee. If the Pirates don't believe in this player, like we don't, just call it out there. If they don't believe in this player, then this right here is a show me I should believe, or we're done here.
Yeah.
If he gets called up for this little stretch, and then he just gets optioned back to the minors and stays on the 40-man all winter, I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But you got to put somebody on the field. Left field's a mess. I know everybody wants to say that Fam's the guy, but Fam's an old man. He's not the guy. Right. And so there's just no point, right? There's no point in playing him. You got to find somebody to play that might have something to do with next year. And Bay could have something to do with next year. If he winds up playing really well, then you go into next year thinking he has a shot of being that fourth outfielder, right?
Yeah.
Which we know that's not going to be Fam. It's either going to be Bay or Sawinski or maybe even Canario. I don't know. But they're going to give looks to guys who had a good season in AAA. They're going to. Also, AAA, Indianapolis is out of the playoff race, all said. I mean, they're not really, but they're 7 games back right now. They're not going to make the postseason. So you remember the quote that was said back there, that was said saying that they care about winning in Indianapolis. If you remember that. Now you see Nick York up here. Now you see Cam Devaney up here. Now you see G1 Bay up here. They're starting to trickle in because it's probably no longer important. Not to mention, they've lost Bubba Chandler as a pitcher down there. Hunter Barco's extremely limited in his pitches now and innings now. And so, like, all of a sudden, they're like, well, man, we don't really have the pitching staff to do this anymore. They're not going to make the postseason. You know who is, though? Altoona. There it is.
Go.
Altoona Curve going to the postseason. And we've got a couple things here. I'm jumping around a little bit, but hey, they're going to do it with Connor Griffin. Jeez Louise. I'm on a roll right now. Connor Griffin and Termarr Johnson up the middle. You feel good about that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
so
2 of our guys, man.
That's right. So I have a question for you. Just piggybacking off of that statement about winning in AAA and all that stuff. Do you care about winning in the minor leagues? Like, does Jake Booth care about winning in the minor leagues really at all?
Yeah. I do. You want a winning culture. You want to breed winners. I think I think there's importance to that. I think your number one priority is obviously, developmental progress, all that kind of stuff. But absolutely, if you're on a field to compete, you want to win, and winning is important.
Okay, so I'm only playing devil's advocate here, just because I want to
100%.
pick. I want to get some of these thoughts out of you here. When you're on the field, 100%, you're going to compete to win, 100% without question. I don't think anyone would question that. That should be the goal.
Yeah.
But when you're the front office and you're trying to make, basically what I'm saying is, could Termar even be somebody now that you've graduated some players up? Could Termar be in line for some AAA action? Or do you keep him there just to give Altoona the best chance to win because they're in a playoff hunt? So I guess the question is, organizationally, not necessarily each player. Each player is trying to win a baseball game. Whatever
100%.
roster's on the field today, we're going to try to win with that roster without question. That's neither here nor there, right? But do you actually set things up to try to win and maybe hold a guy back if you think he could move forward? Maybe hold a guy back just to help that team win. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that about Connor Griffin. He hasn't been there very long. But a guy like Termar Johnson, who's been there all year, could he benefit from moving him up? And this is really, I'm more doing the overarching thing. I'm not even making this about Termar. I'm just saying, if you had a guy who you felt like should be moving up and he's not because you want to give Altoona a chance to win, do you like that? And here's some things. Because of, like you already mentioned, winning culture. Also, is the playoff experience something that you want to give to players? Or is that more, well, going to states in high school doesn't mean anything for Major League Baseball. Like, it just doesn't. You know what I mean? You could say, like, it's playoff experience. It's not. It's not that kind of, you're better off just going to the next level and getting experience at the next level. Or clutching up. Is that something? And then also the last thing is like expectations, where you say like, no, I'm on the field. I expect to win because I'm on a good team with good players. Any of those land on you? Some of them, others?
So my my little side trail on this would be, I want the guy to move up if he's ready. I want him to get to the next level. If he's ready to move up, let's move him up. However, we have 2.5, 3 weeks left of the season. I don't know about minor leagues, but
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting any benefit out of 2 weeks. So
Uh,
100%, I'm leaving them there to try to win.
okay.
I want them to go ahead, and I think just being in playoff atmosphere baseball in general, no matter the level, and it's professional. It's not like it's high school.
I even think of this
baseball.
even college. Like the College World Series is like somewhat good experience, but like you're still
Oh, I think it's great experience,
okay.
but
I think you're getting better. I think you're getting better competition in the regular season at any level of pro baseball.
that's fair. But when you're talking about AAA to AA, I'm good with leaving them there to try to win some games in the playoffs. I do like the playoff experience in AA over a handful of at-bats at AAA. In the grand scheme of things, whatever we're going to find out in 2 weeks in AAA isn't going to make or break their next season.
Okay.
But if you're telling me a month ahead of time, you're telling me I can get them 4, maybe 5 weeks of the next level, I'm in all day. Don't care what the team's doing. I'm moving them up.
Yeah, I'm seeing some stuff in the chat that's kind of interesting too, and actually falls right in line with what we're talking about. Martin says, "What if the Pirates reward Connor and call him up the last few games? They finish in Atlanta, and they are huge Braves fans." So first thing I'll pick up is like Connor's next move is AAA. So if you mean all the way to the majors, I actually would say no on that, not because of Connor, but because when you go into the offseason, you have 40-man roster issues to deal with. Connor Griffin is not going to be added to the 40-man roster this offseason. There's no reason to ever do that. You only have 40 spots. You tend to be really careful with those 40 spots and keep as many guys as possible on there. I think the only way, and I see another one here where he says the Pirates have called up players like Cruz for a few games at the end of the year. Him and Roansy Contreras in that same year. And those were guys that needed to be added to the 40-man roster in the offseason anyway. So you may as well call him up. Same thing with Bubba Chandler this year. He's going to be added regardless, right? You don't come out of the offseason without him on your 40-man. I think. I might be thinking of that wrong. But I thought him and Barco needed to be added this offseason. Don't quote me on that. But for some reason in my head, I was thinking it, and I don't have that pulled up. But either way, those guys needed to be added to the 40-man anyway, if that's what I'm remembering. So you do make calls like that, right? You do make moves like that to say, why not call him up now? Because you're going to have to add him anyway. A guy who you don't have to add, and this is Rule 5 implication. My goodness, Jake. It's all of that stuff, right? So
yeah.
If you don't have to add him to the 40-man, you absolutely don't do something like that. Just because you want to keep as many spots on that 40-man as possible. Yeah. All of the guys that are injured right now have to get added back to the 40-man roster. So if you have 6 guys who won't even play next, this is kind of my pet peeve. A guy who won't even play at the beginning of next year. So like Jared Jones, for instance, he's on the 60-day IL right now. He's not taking a spot on the 40-man. He'll start the year on the 60-day IL. He won't be on the roster then. But during the off season, he will take up a spot on the 40-man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you really got to protect those 40-man roster spots for things like that. And I think that this team is a team who's going to need to add players this year, this off season. And in order to do that, you've got to have spots. Now, granted, there are spaces that they can create. There are spaces coming open, and there are spaces that they could open up. And I think that's part of the G1 base stuff, right? Let's see can we open this spot up, or is it more interesting than that? Cheryl brings up the point that we're kind of going to. Wouldn't they keep Connor and Altoona to help them win? I wouldn't mind if he got a bump to AAA. I don't think that Connor really needs that. He should finish in Altoona. Just because he's already made his moves, I think he should just finish in Altoona and then ride this thing out. My guess, he starts next year in AAA. He could even go like early season Altoona and then move up to AAA just to give him that stepping stone. But
maybe.
But he might also just start in AAA. You know what I'm saying?
That's where I see him start. He's either going to start. In my opinion, he's either going to start in AAA or he's breaking camp as our shortstop. That's the two options.
That'd be wild.
And I think both. I don't think it would be that wild. I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, would it be wild? Yes, but would it be that wild? No.
Yeah.
I mean, there's studs in the game that get started at 19. It happens. It's not completely out of the blue. It happens.
Sure. Okay. Bucko Mike says Termarr and Griffin need playoff experience. So he's buying into the actual playoff experience. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Clutching up in the moment. It's not, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, I could buy that. That's why I was asking this. And go ahead.
Where did it go? Yeah. And I like what, Miles, so minors playoffs are weird. You got 6-game series all season, then they're short series in the playoffs. It's the opposite in the major leagues, but it's still a different. It's different. You gotta adapt to that playoff, whatever it is, the longer series, right, shorter series, whatever it is. So you're used to this long drawn out series. Now it's like, no, dude, you got to be all in from pitch one.
Right.
Go get it.
Yeah. And obviously the long series has just started because of COVID, less travel, and they just kept it because of the travel aspect. That's why they have the week-long series now.
Yeah.
But the playoff series are the same. I don't know how they do AA. I know they've changed over the years, and AAA now does a first half and second half, and whoever is leading in the first half and whoever leads in the second half play a series, and then you get your champion, and that's it, right? And then the International League and the Pacific Coast League play one game, which is so weird, but they play one game to be the AAA champion, national champion, and that's fine. That's wild. It is what it is. You actually don't want to add like a million games anyway, because so many of those players that got you there aren't there because they're graduating to the majors, and you know what I mean? Like AAA actually is probably more weird in the postseason than AA could be because of this kind of scenario. You probably would keep guys there. It's there. Martin says Connor comes up for a few games, nutting, sells tickets in the offseason. I don't think that's going to matter. I really believe you just don't mess with him, and it's the 40-man roster thing. You don't want to end up rushing him, and I don't know. Jake, I will say this though, that when you say you're going to learn more here than you will there, I think when you're talking about AA and AAA, I agree. If that was a move to get, 30 at-bats in the major leagues, I think you learn more doing that. You agree with that? Just for the sake of the argument. Like if you're saying a guy in AA can get moved up to AAA for 30 at-bats, you're kind of like, why do that? Just keep him down there, let him do the postseason run. But if you had a AAA team in the postseason and you had an opportunity to call him up for 30 at-bats in the show, you get a lot more out of those 30 at-bats in the show than you will. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I think AA to AAA, to your point that you were saying earlier, AA to AAA, not a big deal.
So real quick, AA is split season format where teams are divided into two halves. The winners of the first and second halves in each division qualify for the playoffs, leading a 2-round postseason structure, best of 3 series within each league. So the first round is the first half winner against the second half winner, and then the winners advance to a best of 3 championship series. That's AA.
Okay.
So it's not a 1 game, it's a 3-game series at the end.
Yeah, and your first half winners were Erie and Binghamton, and your second half Binghamton as well, but because they won the first half, because they must go by division there. They do. Oh no, they're actually leading their division. It's not league wide. International AAA is actually league wide. Like it's the whole international league.
Yeah. If a team wins both halves in a division, the team with the next best overall full season record in that division earns the second spot.
Yeah, that won't matter because Altoona's leading their division. Binghamton, I was looking at the whole league because in AAA, the divisions don't matter. It's one. You only get 2 teams in AAA: the first half winner of the league and the second half winner of the league. Gotcha. And then that kind of thing. If it's the same team, it goes to the best overall record for the full season, right? The next best overall record for the full season. Yeah. So it looks like they actually do divisions. So they'll actually do 2. You know what I mean? 1 and then the Eastern League champion. But they don't play against any other of the leagues. It's just Eastern League. Right? Like they're not going to go play the Southern and the Texas League and another thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just they stay in the Eastern League and that's it.
It doesn't really specify that.
Right. I'm pretty sure of that. So, all right, let's keep moving on here. Let's go ahead and get going with the rest of this stuff. The Pirates have been swept now 10 times this season. That's not a good number, Jake.
No.
Oddly enough, they have swept a series 7 times this season, which is more than I would have thought.
Yeah.
This one cancels out the sweep of the Dodgers record-wise, right? And that's not the first time this has happened. If you remember back in late June, early July, as it wrapped around to July, the Pirates swept the Mets and the Cardinals back-to-back at home. They went on the road and immediately were swept by the Mariners and the Royals back-to-back on the road. 6 wins, 6 losses, and they just basically cancel out the whole thing just like that. Yeah. Obviously, baseball's played in series, and series is the whole thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's it's wild to think. You said 17 total?
17 total, one way
Just
or the other.
Being involved in sweeps is mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Is it worth it to say in the second half they've swept 4 times and they've been swept 3 times? That's a little bit better. You're on the better side of things.
Yeah.
So hey. We'll see if we come back up here.
I could have swore it was my fault.
We are. I think we're back up.
Says we're back.
All right. Let's unpause everything. We are back in business. I might have to refresh my page, though. We should be good, though.
Hilarious.
I was like, Jake's down. Oh, no. And then I kept talking. All right, cool. OG says, fix it in post. Well, I can for the audio version, but for the video, this is it, man. Whatever it looks like live when we're all done here is what it's going to look like. So we're fine.
I don't even remember what we were saying.
We were talking about the sweeps and all of those things. So let's move that into Don Kelly, right? Because we just talked about 6 for 6, 3 for 3, all this stuff. Essentially, this team's a 500 baseball team who started off really crappy. Does that still hold up? Well, yeah, Don Kelly's 52 and 33. That's wrong. 52 and 53 since he took over. And so, yeah, we're basically a 500 team, which is what we thought this team should have been going into the season. So he's not going to really bring this roster back to 500, or else this team would be much better than 500, right? But what you look at is what has he done for right now with this roster? Well, he's essentially right around 500. He's not going to be able to be even, right? Not going to be able to be even 500. There's 18 games left. So he's either going to be above it or below it. And the 6 series they have remaining are against Baltimore, Washington, the Cubs, the Athletics, Cincinnati, and Atlanta. So here's the question. Can he finish above 500 with the remaining games left?
I mean, I think so. Baltimore's a toss-up. Washington we should be able to win 2 out of 3 there. The Cubs, I want to say we've been playing good ball against good teams, but not in our division. So,
yeah.
The A's, we should be able to take 2 out of 3 there. I mean, we've honestly been dealing with Cincinnati pretty good this year. I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like we've been playing Cincinnati well. And Atlanta just hasn't been playing great baseball this year. So, I mean, I think there's a good shot. There's also a good shot I might try to get one of those days off to go to Atlanta.
4 and 6 against Cincinnati this season.
Okay, so I'm just recalling wrong.
That's all right. I mean, we've been really good against Cincinnati for the past 5-6 years, maybe even longer. So, it's still there. We're 2-1 against Atlanta, but this one we're going to Atlanta there. Obviously, just 3 and 7 against the Cubs. We have not played the Athletics yet. This will be our one series, and we'll have to do it there. At home.
No, it's
so we don't have to go home. Right,
last home series.
That's right. Who else did I say there? I said Washington and Baltimore, who we haven't played. Oh, we've played Washington. We're 3-1 against Washington. It was a 4-game series.
We played Baltimore too.
We've played Baltimore? No, not this year.
Oh, we did.
We played Baltimore just once. Yeah, we'll play them once.
Yeah.
So we'll get Baltimore and Washington on the road, and then you get the Cubs and the A's, and then back on the road for Cincinnati, Atlanta. So If you go by the home record and how good it's been, then you have a better chance against the Cubs and the A's, except for the Cubs are fighting for a playoff spot. I think that you could probably chalk this team up to being, I mean, they're better than Washington, right? I mean, even with the slow start, they have a better record than Washington. So you're favored in that matchup. Baltimore is the same thing. You're right around the same thing as Baltimore. I think they've got, I pulled it up here. They've got 2 more wins, 3 less losses than the Pirates. So they're right there, kind of the same thing. And they've got a really upsetting season as well that they're trying to bounce back from. The A's are the same thing. They're just a couple games better than the Pirates. On as far as on the season, but they did have a hot streak there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at run differential, the Pirates are better than both of those teams, but it's not by a lot. So I don't know, man. I think that's some pretty good. It's like other than the Cubs and really the Reds, who are also fighting, but the Reds may not be fighting at that moment.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to see. Bucka Mike says A's are hammering the ball. They are, but their run differential is worse than the Pirates. So they went out and signed pitchers for way too much money and they're not good. So it just doesn't matter. The guy in their back end, they've already traded away. So you're not worried really about much at all. The question is if this team absolutely can, can hit it all, no matter who's pitching. So I don't know.
Yeah, and Mike, Nick Kurtz is a dude. Like it's
a
fair call out. That's a fair call out, but
yeah,
that's
he's
also,
a dude.
Him and Jacob Wilson. But
yeah,
they've already traded some of their other pieces away.
But I mean, the Pirates pitch well, so it's in the numbers. But it'll be interesting. I think at home, I like that series. If we were going on the road, I probably wouldn't as much. I think they're a pretty close team. As far as all things considered, I mean, their division's not as good as ours, and they're just a couple games better. So I think that's fair to say, front to back. I didn't even look at it, but I think it's fair to say. I mean, they got the Angels. We don't have the Angels in ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess the Cardinals are an even 500. Reds are right there, but the Cubs and Brewers are pretty top heavy, better than everybody in their division. Obviously, the Brewers are the best team in baseball, and they have been for quite some time, Jake. They're the real deal.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
So
they got a great shot to make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah. Listen, Bucka Mike, I like some of their offensive pieces. I do, but they're also playing in a minor league stadium that's like an absolute launch pad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look up the numbers of offensive numbers of all teams played in that stadium versus other stadiums, there's obviously a few, but it's pretty. It's been a minute since I've looked it up, but it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
The complete opposite scenario at PNC Park.
Yeah.
I'm just so scared my internet's going to go out again.
I'm so scared my dog's going to make it through my door. Just scratching at the door.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about Bubba. Let's get moving there. Bubba's first start. Not pretty.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go ahead and do the line first. 2 2/3, 9 hits, 9 runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. He threw 68 pitches, just 43 of them strikes. His ERA is going to explode in this game from 2.25 to 7.36. That's what happens when you've barely pitched in the league, right? His last 6 2/3 innings after his first 8 innings were scoreless. Last 6 2/3 innings have been 12 runs. That's a 16.20 ERA. Now let me ask you, is this good experience or is this bad now that he's essentially just got lit up?
I think it's a little bit of both. You know, I mean, it's a lump for sure, and you take that lump and you learn from it, but which turns that bad experience into good experience. So I do think it's a little bit of both. The league's gonna punch back, and you have, as a young player, you have to know that that's how it works. I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna dominate you for a little bit because no one has any idea except for what you have based on me facing minor league hitters.
Right.
Okay, so now I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna navigate this stuff a little bit differently, maybe. He was actually finding way more of the strike zone when he first came up than he was in the minor leagues. Well, then the hitters have a little bit of MLB tape to look at. They figure some things out. Okay, cool. You're punching back. Watch this. That's what we need to see from Bubba.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
it might not even happen the rest of this season. He might get thumped, another time or two, but it's all about how you learn from getting thumped on and how you can make adjustments from that. It's not always about, okay, he got thumped on, he's trash. No.
So, all right. We're a little bit spoiled. Jared Jones, Paul Skeens. My goodness, you could even put Braxton Ashcraft in the mix here.
Mm-hmm.
Even like Bubba's first two outings were really good. And there was a lot of stuff to like about it. And it wasn't just like, oh, he's just new. He was throwing more strikes, right? In those first couple outings. He's not throwing as many strikes now. We're starting to see some of those things that were showing up in AAA. We're starting to see, and after just a couple starts, we're starting to see them show up. And if he's not going to be in the zone, these hitters will spin on it. I mean, we just watched Mizorowski pitch against the Pirates today, who had a great outing today, right? But his whole season hasn't looked like the beginning of it when we faced him and today. It hasn't looked like that. And in the first couple innings, you saw it. He's missing the zone a lot. And I don't care if it's 100, people aren't going to swing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He started to find the zone. He also got a huge lead and was able to throw in the zone more without the nerves. And so everything was perfect for him to have a good outing today. Yeah. But also, that's what he's learning. It hasn't been, he came into this with a 4.50 ERA. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't been this phenom that what it looked like his first 4 starts in the majors. And that's sort of the same thing that you're going to see from Bubba Chandler. He has warts. Just like every pitcher that comes up does, aside from Paul Skeens. Like, there's just things that they need to do that they're not going to be able to get away with at this level. That is fine. It's essentially going to happen. There are very few that it doesn't happen to. And so what you want to see is a guy who was getting away with it, not even really a AAA getting away with it. He had some struggles down there.
Mm-hmm.
But there was maybe, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to push here, Jake, and this is not coming from anything that any of us know to be true. But let's say he just says, I'm good enough, and he's just kind of going through the motions. Then get him up here, let him show it off, and see what he's made of. And obviously, you're there. You're at that point now where you're saying, all right, it's starting to show up again, right? Yeah. This is the same thing he's been dealing with for half the season. You got to stay in the zone. You can't nibble. He's nibbling all around the zone. It's not like he's all over the place, but he just nibbles off the plate. You can't do that in the major leagues. He's seeing that. He's going to be able to adjust to it. I think the experience is good. I obviously you don't like to get hit around, but like this guy needs to like get that itch to say I have something to prove. And I think this does it, right?
Yeah.
So I actually like it. Now I'll ask you, when you see something like this, back-to-back outings now, this one particularly bad, do you always chalk that up to a reason why you call him up? And I already gave my answer away. So I don't want you to think about what I just said because I essentially just gave it away. Or is this a reason that maybe you should have been more patient and left him down? Where do you stand on that?
No, I like the fact that you bring him up, and it's. I feel bad being on the same page as you for content purposes, but you need to take your lumps and learn from it and grow from it, and it's good that he's getting this, because I don't want him doing this next year. I want him to be ready to go next year. So get these kind of starts and stuff out of the way now, rather than in a season where we actually hopefully have a shot.
Yeah, a couple in the chat here I really liked, and I actually texted you this earlier today, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
When Bubba was thrown in them first couple innings, and listen, this isn't a Joey Bart versus Henry Davis thing. But just like Martin and Bucko and Mike are saying here, you do think of that, right?
Yeah.
You think of that. Why isn't Henry Davis on this start? Why is it? I know that this was 9 runs. This isn't on a catcher, right? This was poor execution by a pitcher, and it's fine. You move on from this day. But early on, I thought the same thing, and I still do moving forward, we need to get Henry Davis behind the plate when Bubba's pitching. I do believe that. I know you got to find time for Bart, but dude, Henry needs to start hitting, because he's starting to become that guy who's well, if we have 5 good starters, we're going to want Henry catching them all, and that can't happen. Right? Andrew Heaney was the only guy who had better numbers with Bart than with Davis. It's just wild.
Yeah.
He gone.
There you go.
Yeah, I see. Bucko Mike's also talking about innings, right? And this is big. Bubba's at 114 2/3 innings. So he's getting up there. Last year, he pitched 119 2/3. When you go 120 innings, you would like the next year to go 140. He's not going to get to 140 with what they're doing. But Bubba is close, but he should be progressing in this area, not going back to the same thing. He should be able to get up to 130, 140 innings this year. Specifically, if you want him to be the guy or one of the guys next year, you actually want him to push beyond that, so that next year you can get him up to 150 or probably 150, 160.
Yeah.
To be safe. You don't want him to come up and only be able to go 135, 140. And they're counting him like that. I know there's other things in there, you know what I mean? Pitch counts, ups and downs, and all the things that they count. But as a general, when we're just talking about innings, you've got to be there. But Bubba's pitched, right? Since he's been a pitcher, he's been over 100 innings every year. Let me double check this. Hang on one second here. 111 innings in 23, 119 2/3 in 24. And now he's at, between the two, 114 2/3. So he should be primed to go. Yeah, I see you there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you texted me, why is Henry not? I said, it's just the Pirates way. Just seems like, you know what I mean? I don't know. But you're right though. Henry can't catch every day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to find times for Bart to get some playing time. When you got a guy like Bubba and you're getting him his first start, I just feel like you got to run Henry out there.
Yeah. Cheryl says, do you think Henry can improve his hitting next year? I have a quick answer for that. Yes. He's hitting every level, right? He's got the equivalent of one season of at-bats in the major leagues. There's still time for him. He's fine. I mean, we don't know that he's fine, but he could be fine. We don't know that he will.
Yeah, to be fair, the question says, can he improve?
He can.
Yes, he can. Will he? We'll see.
Yeah. OG says, is back to Bubba here, says, get him to 130 innings pitched, and he's lined up for 150 in 2026. I totally agree with that. So he's got another 15 innings now, and you've got 18 games. He's going to throw... How's math work? He's going to throw 3 more times.
3 more. 5-inning outings.
And they're going to be, and he hasn't gone 5 innings in the show yet. And if he has another outing like this, it ain't going to happen. But if get him his 3 more outings, give him the opportunity to go 4 or 5 innings if he's going well. And I think you'll be right around there. I don't think he'll get to 130, but I don't think he's also not on a part of his season where this should A, affect his performance, and B, where he's going to like blow past it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think they're safe there, but
I think he gets 3 more outings, and if everything goes well, he goes about 4 innings each, puts him in like 126 innings ish.
I'll trust your math. I don't want to think about it.
You're right in the 130 ballpark. So
right, exactly. I think as far as that goes, he's fine. And I think I would be more concerned about what we saw. And like you could chalk it up to, well, he's getting near that time. But honestly, I don't believe that because we saw him do the same thing in AAA.
Yeah.
It's just 9 runs because they're better at the show, especially when you're facing the best team in baseball.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's going to be an absolute it's going to be an absolute difference from sometimes in AAA when you just get away with it. So, yeah. Cheryl, I agree with this. Heard a report, Bubba and Skeens, spring training when Bubba told Skeens that he's going after that rookie of the year. Like, yeah, you're going to be the number 1 guy, but be ready because the next year I will be. There's a lot of confidence there. He's not Paul Skeens. He's not going to take that over from Paul Skeens. I like the fact that he thinks he can.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen. I don't know where he lines up. But to me, he's a guy who has a ton of tools to be really, really good. And we'll see how it goes. I'd love to see it. Oh, gee, that would be great. I hope you get to see that. I was going to head down to either Baltimore or DC. It's not in the cards for me this year. So I know I was texting with Rosati a little bit, which I think, I don't know if I guess it's not my story to tell. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to make it down there. I'm not worried about Bubba. As a matter of fact, I think this is helpful for a kid to go through things like this. I think every time that you get punched in the mouth and you're a competitor, you're going to punch back.
Not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Come on, Rocky fans.
There you go. Pirates offense goes cold. 3 for 24 with runners in scoring position. 16 hits in the last 3 games. We're gonna go past 10. I know we had some internet issues, so this is our last thing we want to kind of go over here. But 16 hits in 3 games. It's just a big difference from what they did against the Dodgers, but also what they did all of August. Jake, listen to some of these numbers for August. 131 runs, and we're just going to compare months, right? That's the most of any months this year. 238 hits. That's the most of any months this year. 56 doubles, Jake. They had 41 in June for their previous most. That's their most by 15 doubles. 28 home runs. It's their most by 5, but in March and April they had 23, but they also played 2 more games. 111 walks. That's the most of any other month this year. A 247 average. Only June was better at 251, so pretty close. A 329 on base, that's the highest. 396 slugging, that's the highest. They had a 374 in June, that's 20 points higher. 725 OPS, their previous best was 686. It's the first month. August was the first month they eclipsed 700 as a team. 120 OPS plus relative to the Pirates. So that means if 100 is the average of what the Pirates have done all year, this was 20% better than the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And a 99 OPS plus relative to the league's OPS in August. So they're essentially a league average August baseball team. And what do you do if you're a league average August baseball team on offense? Their August record, 14-15. They're a 500 team with this pitching staff just by being league average. Although I expected that to be a little bit higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
I expected that record to be a little bit better in August. when I was thinking that through. Well, we did have a 5-game losing streak in there. So maybe that played. Milwaukee, the sweep Milwaukee, we swept Colorado, but essentially that's it, right?
Yeah.
But the Pirates had a pretty decent, the Pirates were a league average offense in August as compared to the rest of the year when they've been severely below that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was surprised that it was only 14-15. If they'd have just taken that last one from Boston, they could have been 15-14. Everything would have been fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk O'Neal Cruz and then we'll get out of here. Okay.
All right. Yep.
I want to single him out because it's been tough to watch. It's been really tough to watch for a while. 2 for 4 Friday, and that, was fine, but 0 for 7 Saturday and Sunday combined. A lot of just ground balls to the infield. It's just, we're just not even seeing the signs of it anymore. He really hasn't been a good hitter since April, Jake. May was passable. He only hit .202 in May as far as batting average is concerned, but his on base was still .323. His OPS was still .740 in May. So I'll give you a pass for May that there was maybe some batting average issues, but the rest of the game still looked good. And you were still okay with it and knew that he just needed to come out of that. But it dive bombed in June, a 176 average, a 283 on base, and a 580 OPS, And then July, 234, coming up a little bit, but still a 282 on base. I'm sorry. You went less. I know he went 176 to 234, Jake. But he went 283 to 282 on base. His average got better because of the power, which is good. So overall, a better month because the 685 OPS, which still isn't good. And then August, his OPS went all the way down to 502. His on base was 235. He's 2 for 16 so far in December. Yep, in September. I'm doing great.
Yeah, it's not what you want to see from a guy that you're expecting. This was supposed to be our 2 or 3 hitter. He's now been batting like 7th? And still just scuffling?
Yeah, 6th, 7th. To me, the where he's hitting in the order, I know that you could probably change his performance by doing that, but everybody knows who he is. Everybody's going to pitch around him. They don't care that he's struggling right now because still at any moment, you know what I mean? You can get blasted by him. So you're still throwing him well, but the thing is you can't hide somebody who's 6'7" and hits the ball 120 miles an hour.
Right. But that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
The offense, the pitcher is going to take him easier. I'm just saying, I'm getting moved down in the lineup. I'm going to fight back to get back to where I was. And we're just not seeing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's still, he looks at the plate. He looks lost. He looks confused. And I think he's so far in this hole right now. I don't see him snapping out of it this season.
Okay.
I'm hoping he hits one more home run.
One more?
Yeah, 2020 is a deal.
Yeah.
But, because, you look over the course of a season, you can at least say the 2020 guy.
Back-to-back years.
Season. Even just this season in general. I'm gonna isolate the season and say O'Neal Cruz is a 2020 guy in his worst season.
Yeah, he's a crucial part of this offense, Jake. This is essentially his 3rd full season. I know that there's been a little bit here and there, but the injury season, this is essentially his 3rd full season. And it's when you get to the point where you're in your 3rd full season and you're You're supposed to be fine from the injury, right? We're not talking about last year. We talked about the broken leg and how it took him time to get back. We're back. Jake, if you just compare last year, the year that he started slow and came on late because of the leg injury, he missed a full season of baseball. He hit 259 with a 324 on base last year and a 773 OPS. Now that, to me, is something to build on. He hit 21 homers, he stole 22 bags, and he had 34 doubles. That's something to build on. When you look at a guy like that and you say his second full season in the major leagues, he put up those numbers, I like what I'm going to see next year.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it, especially knowing that he was slowed down the first half of that season. This year it's been 201, 302, which, by the way, that's a bigger gap because he's walked more. But 201, 302, 686. Each one of those numbers is down. And that's average on base. And I went straight to OPS rather than slugging. And 19 home runs, 37 steals, 17 doubles. Now, I can break that down a little bit more, right? He's drawn more walks this season, but his hit tool is down, right? He had 599 plate appearances last year. He's only at 496 this year. So we got about 83% of the plate appearances compared to last year. So how do those numbers, these are counting stats. We want to know, how far is he? He's got 83% of the plate appearances. He has 90% of the home runs. So he's above the bar on home runs compared to last year. On stolen bases, Jake, 168%. The stolen base has gone from 22 to right now 37. He should get to 40, as Bucko Mike does call out here in the chat, 2040 season, not just 2020, right? And I think that's,
fair.
I mean, that counts. He was 2020 last year. He's 2040 this year. That you can say he did something right.
Yeah.
But he only has 50% of the doubles. 61% of the hits. He had 140 hits. He only has 86. 83% of the at-bats, only 61% of the hits. 74% of the RBIs, but RBIs are a team stat, in my opinion, anyway. And 118% of the walks. There are some things that we just looked at. This is a small sample of things, Jake. But some things have gotten better, but the overall numbers are not. He has 18 games left, obviously. We've been talking about that the whole show. He probably gets around maybe 50 plate appearances left, give or take. That's if he averages 3 a game. So if he sits a game, but he gets mostly 4 a game, you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Around 50 plate appearances left. What does he need to do in the last 50 plate appearances to get you saying, okay, I'm comfortable going into next year. I'm ready to wipe this year away and go into the next season? Does he need to get to 40 steals, 21 homers to match last year, 20 doubles? That's 3 more. Is that enough to be convinced to say, like, all right, let's wipe this one clean. Let's get back to work. And I'm excited about next year. Or are you still going to be nervous?
I'm still going to be, no matter what, I'm still going to be what version's showing up. It's been an entire season of this, and it's I honestly don't care what he does the rest of the year.
You're already there.
I'm just already there. I think the season for him is, you can basically close the door on it. I do hope he gets that 20th home run, like I said, because there is something to say for that.
Me personally, I mean, he could have a 3-homer game tomorrow and still stink the rest of the year, and he'd be above that. So I think the home run absolutely should matter.
Yeah. But I just don't see him changing my outlook on him based on the last 50 plate appearances when I've already seen almost 500.
Okay. Cheryl says the beginning of the season, he was stealing bases like crazy. Now he seldom tries. Yeah, I mean, 7 in April, 6 in May, 9 steals in June, 7 in July, only 2 in August. I don't know if that's necessarily him not trying or the fact that he just wasn't on base.
Yeah.
I think when he's on base, he's going to try.
Yeah.
But to Cheryl's point, it sure feels like it when you go a whole month with just 2 stolen bases. It feels like you're not trying. He just isn't on base. Yeah. Martin says, is the pressure of learning center field hurting him at the plate? What do you think about that?
I think you could have said that early on. I don't know if that's the case at this point. But sure, I mean, when you're learning a new position, you are focusing a lot of your time and energy on, defense, and you're not working. I don't want to say they're not working as hard because I don't like to say that because it sounds like they're being lazy, but they're not spending as much time on the other side of the ball. So I can see where that could play a factor. I just don't know. It's just been too long now, and they should have been able to make adjustments by now.
He played 195 innings in center field last year. And he worked on it. Should have at least worked on it this offseason. We're going to trust that he did. And now we're at 964 innings, 112 games in center field. I think he'll continue to get better, but I don't know that there's that level of intentional learning like you saw last year and maybe at the beginning of this year even. I think you're still going to run into situations where it is impacting it, but if they just put in the extra time in that and they're not taking time away from hitting, I would venture to say that the fact that he's been struggling now for a couple months, like specifically struggling for a couple of months, that they're heavy in hitting with him.
Yeah.
He's probably not doing extra drills on defense right now because he's probably doing extra drills at the plate.
Yeah.
I just think that's the way you invest in a guy, but that doesn't mean that didn't have something to do with it, Martin. It could have early on, but he was better early on. So I don't know. I guess overall, I think maybe I just formed my opinion that I don't think that it's playing a factor. It's a good question.
Yeah,
but maybe it's not really. So I don't know. Miles says, it looks to me like MLB is the first time in his life that Cruz has been competing against players better than him. That could be it too.
Yeah.
Then again, like he did it for a whole season last year. So I don't know. I think he just needs to figure it out. Needs to figure it out. Bucko Mike says he's hitting 198 with runners in scoring position. Last year, 241. So there's his 6th numbers. Bucko Mike says he's hitting 250 with a 1 dot OPS and 12 at bats in the 6 hole. To be honest with you, I just don't put much stock into that. If that was a huge sample, then yeah. I need O'Neal Cruz to hit near the top of this order.
Yeah.
Just in general, I need him to be that good. If this team is going to work, it's going to work with O'Neal Cruz at the top of the lineup. I don't care where. What do you consider the top? 1 through 4? Put him in one of those spots. He has to be in one of those spots. I don't even care if it's 4. To me, that's still the top.
Yeah.
I'll go someone else 5. If you can get him somewhere between 1 and 4, I'm happy with it. The steals are enough to say if he's going to walk a lot, which right now is not a lot, but if he's going to walk a lot, I don't care if he hits leadoff. If he can do it, I don't care if he hits 40 homers from the leadoff. I mean, Kyle Schwarber did it and he was good. And Schwarber didn't have 40 steals. So I think you can back that up.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'd like him 3, 4. I think it would be as I'm looking at this, I think that'd be it. But you've got to find somebody else who can be dangerous at the top.
Yeah.
More at bats. That's the way I look at it anymore. I just don't care. A guy who gets on base no matter what and hits, you put him at the top.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I think for me, I do want to see signs of something. I think this is a struggle. I think if I see some signs at the end of the year, if he pops 3, 4, 5 home runs the rest of the way out, then you can kind of tell that he's figured something out. Is that fair? You think there's? I know
fair.
I know what you're saying, but I think if you just give me a little bit, then I'll say, all right, let's wipe the season. You figured it out. You at least got on a hot streak. I mean, we're talking about 2 home runs in each of the last 2 months.
Yeah, I guess what I'm thinking of is like the at-bats we have left. I mean, almost anybody can get on a heater. I mean, if you're playing professional baseball, you can get on a heater.
That's what I want to see him do.
Right. But that's not necessarily figuring it out. That's just getting hot. And then you go into the off season and that hot streak's done.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see it. I'm not saying I wouldn't like to see it. I would love to see it. It would make me feel better as a fan, 100%. But I still don't know, looking at the deeper issue, if I'm really sold on he's figured it out or if he got hot at the end of the year.
So here's the thing, though, Jake. His August numbers, remember, he spent a little bit of time on the IL. His August numbers are based on 17 games for that 1 month. He's only played in 5 games in September so far. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So when it's all said and done, he's going to have a month. And we're looking at other months, and I'm seeing what he's doing in other months. He's going to have a month of data that I think counts. And if his August is only 17 games, then I can compare those 17 to the last 18 that we see here. By the way, he had 60 plate appearances. No, that's not even it. He had 60 at-bats in those 17 games. So he could very well have 50 or 60 at-bats here. Now, he's a little bit further down, which is why I kind of said why I lowered that a little bit. Mm-hmm. But like, I think that 18 games is long enough to tell me like he had a good month now. And if he can finish with a good month, when I go back and look at this in December and I start to look at my lineup, I can say, well, yeah, but he struggled for 2 months and kind of came back out of it. 3 months, really. I mean, he hit 3 home runs in June, but he only hit 176. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
And that was when it all started. Like we'll go back to May. May was his last good month. So like if he can put up another May month where he hit 4 home runs, 323 on base and a 740 OPS, then I can say, all right, he struggled in the middle of the summer. We got to fix that. And then I can say, erase what we just did. Let's build off of that. We got to break out next year. And I think I could still look at him in a lineup and say, give him the offseason and he can turn things around.
Yeah.
But
that's fair.
You would expect to hear, like, I want to see him at winter ball. I want to see him. I want signs of something showing how hard he's been working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. I just want to see it. I think there's a specific struggle he's dealt with this year that Bucko Mike says 5 months he struggled. Once again, April and May, I can live with those numbers. I don't like the average in May, but I mean, overall, a 740 OPS, I can deal with that for a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And certainly the March, April, he was great. So, that's not it, but I need to see some good numbers. Bucko Mike says you need a consistent, good 18 games from Cruz. I don't know that it'll get them all 18, but the statement still applies here, regardless of what that number is.
Yeah. I mean, the one good thing we have going for us is we got the off day today, Monday, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
We have another off day. We play 3, 6, 9 games a day off, 3 games a day off, 6 games.
And then you finish it out. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a couple days off in there for this last run.
But if they face Andrew Abbott in Cincinnati, he won't play.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I'm. If they face these, some of these tough lefties like Imanaga, he's not playing. That's what they've been doing lately.
Yeah. And it's fine. For now.
Yeah. Finish out the season strong and I'm okay. I don't like it. Obviously, it's a bad season. But I think you can turn the page if he finishes strong. If he doesn't finish strong, then I'm wondering if he's an answer. I'm wondering if he'll ever happen. All the tools are there, but that doesn't necessarily mean he'll reach his ceiling. What is his ceiling? Probably 40-40?
Yeah.
40-50? Meaning 40 homers, 50 steals? You know what I mean? Like, is this what we're talking about with this type of player? Like, he's that kind of dude.
Yeah.
And yet we're hovering around 20 homers. So will he ever reach that ceiling?
It's a great question of the year.
So we need to get it back. All right. Fun one tonight. Internet issues. It's been a long time since I've had like a full blown internet outage during one of these. I don't know that it's ever happened. Of just my internet just completely. There was one time a few weeks ago we thought it was mine and turns out it was yours.
Right.
But either way, glad to be back to the live shows. A few more left during the regular season. But we had a fun weekend last weekend. It was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a good time. I talked a little bit about it on one of the shows this past week, so I even threw your batting average out there, I think. So if you didn't listen last week and you want to know if your boys are any good or not, just go check out, I think it was Thursday or Friday. That was the only shows I did, so it had to be one of those two.
Yeah.
Go check those shows out. Find out. Let's play some music and get out of here, Jake.
Let's go.
You have any closing thoughts here? We're day off Monday. Series against the Orioles. What is your pick in Baltimore? We
Just
taking
Baltimore?
that series?
Yeah, we take that series.
All right. There you go. Heard it here first. Let's go Bucks.
Let's go Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks.
Dang it, Bobby.